Instagram, and I actually think I got it simultaneously. I think we're live on Facebook too. Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Chet Chats. Thank you, as always, for tuning in with us today. It is just back to me and Dad here on the show. Thanks for tuning into our special episode with all of my siblings here. Super fun. But before we get into today's discussion, we, as always, want to give our special shout outs to our sponsorships.
Yes, I like to send a special shout out to Lyric Party Game. Listen, people, Lyric Party Game is a party game for music lovers. It throws a player in the middle of the song to see if they really know the lyrics. It's guaranteed fun for everyone. So get out there and support. Thank you. What's up?
That's a tough game, though, y'all. I recommend. It's fun.
It's definitely
really,
fun.
It's just difficult.
Yeah, you got to know your music.
Yeah.
If you don't, if you don't.
So as always, y'all, thanks for tuning in from Instagram and from our Facebook page as well. If there are comments and I don't shout them out, it's because I can't see them. I'm trying to still figure out all the technicalities with all of these pages. But thanks for bearing with us as we do so. So, Dad, today's topic is discipline.
Okay, in what regards?
In what regards is a great question. Yeah. So I think that as someone who is now, this is awful, like I can't believe I'm saying this, but in my mid-20s now, faints.
What did I say?
They're just saying hello, good morning.
But it said request. What I got to do? We do anything?
Nothing.
Okay.
You do nothing.
Oh, okay.
In our mid-20s now, a lot of it is centered around like setting goals and kind of obtaining those goals, achieving those goals. So my question really is, in your opinion, like how does discipline play into manifesting those goals and ensuring that those goals are being set and then that they are being achieved?
Well, I don't think discipline is easy to do oftentimes because with excuse me, y'all, with so many distractions of life in itself, it's not an easy task to maintain a particular task to complete it. So, but if you have a knack or understanding for being disciplined, you can achieve these goals. But it takes time, and I think oftentimes people don't believe, we always say, I want it now. But through life itself, I don't think anything was technically built in one day to make it manifest to its greatness. You might have started it in one day, but they actually manifest to its greatness, I think, is a period of time. And I think oftentimes people lose that insight because that's one of the only gifts that I personally believe that we don't control, that God gave us, is time. So with that being stated, even if you believe in the biblical part of it, it said it took him 7 days to build this wonderful earth. And so with that being stated, you have a human then trying to build greatness in 2 days, 3 days. And I think over time, if you develop discipline codes for yourself and your greatness, you can develop greatness in whatever you're trying to achieve.
So
I hope was that clear?
I think so.
Okay, because my balance been off a little bit. My discipline been off a little bit as well.
I was going to say, do you think that discipline is something that's innate, like we naturally are disciplined beings, or do you think it's something that is taught, or can it be both?
There you go, people. Please chime in to help your boy out. Innately, I think certain characteristics of us being animals are in us. I'm not necessarily knowing as discipline is one of them. And the reason why is because, and this is my personal opinion, people, I believe it's taught because it's an extension of you. So certain things I believe innately in you for you to breathe. If you waking up breathing. But discipline, I think, is more of a taught behavior. And I could be wrong. Please, people that's in the psychology field or therapist field, please feel free to comment. Because, again, as I always state, I don't know all the answers in life. I'm a work in progress myself. But I think it's actually you're taught this discipline. You're taught these alignments of things to consistently do so you can achieve your goal. And oftentimes we don't achieve our goals because we might put a week in. We might put a day in, but never knowing how long it really takes to achieve it or follow in someone else's footsteps that actually did the work to see it go through. Because we instant now. So when on Facebook and stuff like that, you see people, You see the end product. But you don't know how many hours somebody slept on the floor, how many people might have slept in their car, how many people might have didn't have a place to sleep at all. But when you see the end result of their greatness, whatever that may be in, people tend to say, oh, I can do it. And then when they do it for a week, it doesn't happen. So they lose discipline in the act of staying consistent in that art form or whatever that art form may be. So do you find yourself being, I think consistent and discipline, I know they're two different words, but I think they run simultaneously together, because without consistency, I don't think you can be disciplined in a particular art. Because being disciplined in a particular art is, like I always say, you need your 10,000 plus man hours, and that's just to be proficient in it. That doesn't mean you even great in it. They just said that's the time frame that you could be proficient in it. So I just think consistency and discipline runs together. You know, that's my personal opinion. People, please feel free to chime in, because I'm, like I said, I don't know everything.
If you are just tuning in, today's topic is around discipline. What is discipline? How do we intertwine it into our daily lives? Anything of that nature. They're just saying that it is a learned behavior.
Oh, learned behavior. So I was correct to a degree, yes. So I think, like with you, do you have goals in mind, and do you believe that you're being disciplined in achieving these goals? Because I know you had a particular goal, and can I bring it up, about you wanting to have 300 plus subscribers?
Oh, it's 1,000.
1,000, I'm saying 1,000 subscribers to your YouTube. Now, are you online with that?
Yes.
Okay. And what caused you to be online with that?
I set the goal for my birthday for having 300 subscribers, and I surpassed that by 55 subscribers.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So am I as a person disciplined? I would say yes, but I also think that, like many are saying, that it is a learned thing. I don't think that I'm disciplined in every area of my life. I think a lot of it is goal oriented for me being like a disciplined person. So I think that there are levels to being disciplined. I think that you can be a disciplined person overall, but for most people it's a task oriented type of discipline.
So do you think, with that being stated, that most people don't stay disciplined in whatever they trying to accomplish? And I know you can't answer for everybody, because this is just a generalization. That's putting the world on you. That's a blanket statement. Yeah, I can't put the world on top of your shoulders. But, okay, let me rephrase it. Do you find difficulty in being disciplined in some of the goals that you're personally trying to achieve?
Personally?
Yes.
I think that, no. But I also know that for me, it's if I have a goal in mind for myself, then I know my game plan of how I want to get there. Whether or not it goes exactly how it is, I know that I am committed to staying disciplined to achieve my goal. Now, if it's something else someone else wants me to do, then no, I don't. I'm gonna be honest, I don't generally care as the same amount that I would care if it was me setting it for
your
myself.
personal goal.
Yeah.
Okay. So can we take from that is imperative to stop looking for others to achieve certain goals that you set for yourself?
Yeah, 100%. I think that people fall into this idea that you have to do everything alone, and to an extent yes, you do have to do it alone, because you don't want the same things that I want the same things you want. So in the regard of mentally, like, yes, you are alone in you getting to where it is that you want to be. However, there are outside factors like people who want to assist you in getting there, or you know that you're really good at handling this thing, so I'm going to ask for your help for that part to further propel me into achieving that goal.
Okay. That sounds reasonable. Excuse me. No, because I often hear people saying that they're waiting on someone else to have them disciplined in something that they want to achieve, not what the person that they waiting on want to achieve, whatever that may be.
I think it's a personal thing. I think that you have to, I think discipline is a skill that everyone should have in their toolbox, but I also think that it's something that you have to work on. You can't just wake up and say, I'm going to be focused today, and then tomorrow you decide that you don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah, that's where the consistency part come in.
Yeah.
Because you're either going to be consistently doing A, consistently doing B, or consistently doing neither one.
Right, yeah.
So whatever that may be, I believe that's where the discipline of understanding oneself comes into play. So understanding that if you're willing to make certain sacrifices, and this way because I don't even really know the definition of discipline. Please, people, feel free to tell me the actual definition of discipline, because my definition might be way different than Webster's definition. But I just know when I personally want to accomplish something, I have to first dig in my inner self and then lay down what it is that I'm trying to accomplish and stay disciplined enough in that consistency of getting it done. Now, sometimes do I fall short? Absolutely, because I'm human. So, but I know the next day, if I don't do it today, it must be done tomorrow to get it done. So that's the discipline I believe I have within myself to say, hey, if I don't accomplish it today, I'm able to do it tomorrow or the next day and then the next day until it actually has been completed.
Just to read off some comments we have. Many of us wait on others to do for us what we should do for ourselves. And then, sorry, I think we cut out for a little bit.
Forgive us, people.
Internet connection.
We did pay the bill. The bill is paid.
I'm gonna read it one more time. Many of us wait on others to do for us what we should do for ourselves, and discipline pairs with accountability as well, holding yourself accountable for the results of your actions.
So how you feel about that?
Which part? Or all of it?
I mean, it was a body of work just now. I mean, you can break it down. I believe accountability is also in alignment with discipline.
I think it is too. I think it's going way back to at the beginning of this when we say that we live sort of now, and I don't know if it's always been this way, but we live in a very instantaneous type of society now,
yes.
Where everything is, as great as technology is, it can also be detrimental to some extent, and that's like a whole other
topic. Right.
But because everything is so instant, it's like you don't see the behind the scenes. Example, I just published another book.
Congratulations.
Thank you. But no one sees all of the hours that I put into writing it, to getting it manuscripted, to printing it out, like all of that type of stuff.
To get the editing and all that.
Right. So, and then for another example, with Chet Chats, no one sees the behind the stuff that we do to prepare for Chet Chats, that kind of thing. So I do think that with everything being so instant, it's, that looks so easy. Like anyone can do it. But if anyone could do it, then everyone would be doing it.
I agree with that.
Right. I think that discipline, accountability, focus, all of that, while they are their own strands, they are together, and they do form, to not bring science into it, but they do form a strand of like DNA. Like that's all together. They all go together.
Okay. I definitely can relate to that. Somebody made a comment, discipline is one of the keys to success. I have to agree wholeheartedly in that it's one of the keys, but we know it's several keys that come together to form success. And then that's not getting off the subject of discipline, but success is in the eye of the beholder, right? And I think oftentimes we try to get success in other people's eyes that's not really meant for our eyes.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that? Because I often see that like, I want to be like them. But maybe you don't want to be like them. Maybe you want to be better than them. Or maybe you want to be in your own greatness, and your greatness is not necessarily what that particular person is doing or people are doing. Because I often hear that, with my life coaching, I want to be like this, I want to be like that. And I often wonder, do you have the tools in your tool belt, because we always talk about the tool belt or toolbox, to be able to achieve what these people are willing to do? Because I know certain people, they might literally sleep for 4 hours. But then your body might need 6 hours, 5 hours. Your body might need 4 hours and 10 minutes. I don't know. But the reason I'm saying that is because you're trying to compare yourself to someone else, but you have no idea. 4 hours is 4 hours. I'm just saying. You're 4:01, that means you lose a minute every time they already up a minute before you. So that's the point I'm making, where your success should be based upon what you innately have in your toolbox and be reasonable in those things. And that, in my opinion, falls under discipline as well. People correct me if I'm wrong, but I just think it all relates to one another when you're trying to form your greatness. Because at the end of the day, I think all people want to be great for themselves first, and then for the people they care for. I think. I'm not 100% sure on that either.
We have another comment that says that a lot of us lack discipline that we need to elevate. What do you think?
Absolutely. I 100%. I even at times people lack the discipline on staying focused with certain tasks myself because I'm human, and then unfortunately other things come into play outside of my control, as I say, right? Because if my car break down, I might have supposed been going to the print shop to get these wonderful Hefe shirts made. However, I got delayed because of unforeseen situation that occurred that caused me not to go to the print shop at a timely fashion. So absolutely, I think and then sometimes people, I have to admit, I'm lazy. I mean, I guess under the term, I get up lazy a couple days. I'm not as young as I used to be. And I don't know if that's because I'm getting older, fatigue, or my body just worn out. But some days, I can't speak for everybody that's listening on the podcast, but I get tired. Some days I get tired and I take my vitamins, my powder drinks. I'm doing all the necessary things, eating correctly. However, I still find myself mentally tired at times. So maybe that's a discipline I got to work on.
I think that with discipline also, a lot of people, we get this idea of if you're disciplined, if you're consistent, then you're working, and you're always going, when the reality is, like you said, we are human beings. So a lot of the discipline that I think that some of us do lack is that we overwork ourselves and we push ourselves into the ground. And there's a saying that a lot of people say that working hard doesn't mean working yourself to death, basically, essentially. Right. We have this as a society, we have this idea of, it's like, we talked about this a lot in college, where it's like, oh, I only slept for 4 hours, but look at all of this stuff I got done. It's like, oh, you slept for 4 hours, I only slept for an hour and a half, and then I did X, Y, Z. So we have this like this notion that the
least you sleep,
right, the more
the better off you
right,
are,
and the better that you're doing. When the reality is, with discipline, in my opinion, that comes with knowing your body and knowing what it is that you need. So discipline also is, yes, I worked very hard. The hours, while they matter, at the end of the day, it's like no one's sitting there counting your hours like, oh, you only spent 6 hours doing this, but you spent 15 doing something else, right? So I think that a lot of with discipline does also come with taking a break and knowing when it is okay to take a break, and then also knowing that it is okay to take a break.
I totally concur with. That's why she's the co-host people of the show. Her knowledge is very deep, and I appreciate it because I do. As I gotten older, when I was younger, I'm gonna share. My mind was stay focused on the task at hand. No matter what, you wake up, you breathe it, you eat it, you live it, so forth and so on. Right? That's when I was younger. As I've gotten older, I still have tasks in hand. I'm breathing it, I'm living it, but some days I'm tired, honestly. Yeah. And I can't speak for everybody that's watching the podcast and whatnot, but I'm being honest. Some days I wake up, I'm not as full of energy as I'm used to be. And I don't know if that's because of time, because biologically I'm getting older from how we view time. So I don't know, but I know I used to could sleep off for 4 hours and pop up and get going. I tried to do that the other day, and I got dizzy, didn't I? I said, I can't do that. You remember? Yeah. I got dizzy. I popped up 4 hours of sleep, and I was like, oh, my goodness, Shy. So, again, as I say, we keep it transparent as possible on this show. When I say possible, because all views aren't for everybody as it relates. But I woke up one day after a 4-hour rest, popped up. Normally, I can just get up, go brush my teeth, say my prayer, so forth and on. This particular morning, I popped up and had to ask for assistance from my daughter. So again, I don't know if it's because the night before I said, hey, I can do it again and again and again. But my body actually told me that, hey, you need to take a pause and reset. So I don't know, people, if y'all listening to this and if it's reaching you, but everything has its time frame. And just know, because you might didn't complete it actually today, that it is potentially tomorrow to complete that task at hand. And I think like you say, we always saying we want it today, and not necessarily knowing how important. And I know this is a side segment. Your health is. Your health, people, is extremely important. And maybe we should have talked about health today, but discipline is where we are. We can always circle back with.
Just reading a comment quickly. Discipline, focus, planning, dedication fits under the umbrella that is needed to succeed and accomplish our goals.
How you feel about that?
I agree. I think it goes back to what we were saying of the aligning with men. A lot of, and this is a trend on Chet Chats, a lot of the things we talk about end up intertwining with previous things that we talked about. So all of those things go back to us talking about accountability, us talking about timing, us talking about communication, responsibility, all of these things. So if you look at it, I mean, it's not just a trend with Chet Chats, but that's how life works and that's how it maneuvers. Like for us to be quote unquote the best versions of us that we can be, we do need all of these things in our toolbox. And whether or not we're excelling at one more than the other, I think that's also okay. I think that as long as we acknowledge these are the pieces that we need to propel us into whatever path, direction, goal that we have set, that we need pieces of it in order to go ahead and be better in longevity.
Absolutely. Thank you for everyone that continue to tune in. Please feel free.
Leave your comments. We're talking about discipline today. What is discipline? Is it innate? Is it something that's taught? How can we be more disciplined as people? What does that look like to you? So as always, please leave your comments. We are both on Instagram Live right now and Facebook Live as well. And we always enjoy listening to what you guys have to say. And I do my best to read them as they come through. Sometimes I miss a few. I'm dealing with technology.
Yes, and unfortunately, we can't seem to get them back up on the Facebook page at all right now.
Yeah.
Just to see any comments and whatnot. But please, people, we definitely appreciate the support. I know I do, as well as my daughter. And we do believe this show is meant to enlighten, brighten, illuminate one's greatness. And again, we always tell you we don't have all the answers to everything. I know I don't. I'm a student at life, and I continue to propel in that area. So sometimes I get it right 100%. Other times I don't. Needless to say, I'm here to try to make a better version of myself first, so then I can help make a better version with someone else's greatness as well. So that's why we decided to talk about discipline today and the importance of being disciplined. And oftentimes we lack discipline, well, whatever it may be, our understanding, our upbringing, our lack of. But the importance of discipline, and then as people keep chiming in, we always share that it's not just discipline, it's accountability, responsibility, focus, understanding oneself, because oftentimes you're trying to put yourself in someone else's shoes and have no idea what that particular person went through to get to the point that they're currently at. Now, do you commend them for getting there if that's a goal that you want to achieve yourself? Absolutely. But you have no idea some of the discipline and sacrifices, because we very often want to hear the word sacrifice. With sacrifice often seen negative in that it's saying, hey, it's taken away from me. But not necessarily. It could be actually enhancing you, in my personal opinion. Sometimes I sacrifice things to better other situations, and vice versa. People do it for me as well. It's not a one-way street when I'm talking about sacrifice. So do you believe with being disciplined comes sacrifices, or sacrifices are different than discipline?
I think it's dependent. I think that it depends on the situation, and it depends on, like you were saying, the person and whatnot. I don't think that I think at some point in time a sacrifice does have to be made. However, I don't think that sacrifices necessarily have to be made in order to stay disciplined and achieve said goal. And I think, again, that's different for every person. I think that, again, I do believe in God, so I think that because there are a multitude of different pathways and only God is in control of knowing which way you're going to go with that, I do think that some people, yes, do have to sacrifice more than other people, but it's not to say that no sacrifice is made on the person who has to take less sacrifices. I think it's dependent. I do think that the word sacrifice is probably another word we use in the American dictionary that we're using incorrectly. But that's we use a lot of words incorrectly, and we think that we know we're using them right, but we're not.
Absolutely. So. I concur. I do it all the time, so I find myself, sorry to cut you off, but I find myself starting to look up words, because last night I said a word to someone, and I said, hey, let me get back to you, because maybe I'm using this word in the wrong
context
of what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So they were like, I like that you're willing to say, let me get back to you. Because I'm like, yes, because I'm saying it, and I might be saying it not in the definition that is presented by Webster or the Oxford Dictionary.
So I think that, I don't know, sacrifice has this, it's very, like, it's a very powerful word for us, and I don't necessarily think that it needs to be in the sense of, example, again, going back to believing in God, they say that, he sacrificed his only son for us, right? And so I think that we give so much power to this one word, but the reality is sacrifice doesn't need to be this big, luxurious, grand thing. It can be something as minor as, I sacrificed a day of the week of going out with my friends so that I could finish working on something. So
okay.
I think it's perception and perspective, and that's something else that usually ties back into everything that we
always talk about. Yes. So, I'm just amazed, people, because I look back and I don't know if anybody tuned in last week for a special episode that we had, because I had all of my children out here in LA with me, and it was very emotional for me. I don't know if anybody noticed it or not. I couldn't even speak some of the times. I thought I couldn't. So now I'm just reflecting back when she was speaking, how when I literally saw her being born, and how much, in my opinion, she has achieved in such a short frame of existence here on this earth. And I'm very proud of you, Cheyenne. And I'm also proud of your siblings, but they're not here today. But it's just amazing, people, that we can sit on this air and communicate I want to be young as possible always, but that the knowledge that she has within her, and we are trying to share this knowledge with not just ourselves, but with everybody, and everybody that actually partake in looking at this podcast, whether it's on Facebook or Instagram. We truly appreciate it. I know I personally do, and I just wanted to share that with y'all, because oftentimes we don't give flowers to people. I know we offer discipline a little bit, but we don't give flowers to people while they breathing, as they say. So I like to give everyone that's a follow Chet Chats, everyone that believes in the Hefe lifestyle, everyone that believes in Chet Fajardo and his children. I just like to give y'all flowers while y'all breathing. So kudos to all. I appreciate it every time. I might not say it every time on the air because we don't get paid to say this every time on the air, but I just want y'all to know that I appreciate it, and it does me good to come in front of y'all to give you our thoughts. And again, they not rules or permanent in textbooks, but it's just sharing our POV on things. So hopefully it'll awaken something in you to continue to be your greatest self. Hopefully it'll awaken someone else to continue to be their greatest self. Because at the end of the day, we're all connected. People don't want to believe it, but we are. I know people had beefs, griefs, including me as a person, that I don't get along with everybody. But at the end of the day, we're all connected in one fashion or another. So when you're great, hopefully you can then grab someone else to be greater, and then hopefully they can grab somebody to be greatness. So it's just a cycle that I believe is inevitable. I'm sorry. Inevitable. That's correct me. That's one. I apologize, people. I'm about to say the wrong word. Jesse Jackson thing. I'm sorry. But honestly, excuse me, that is important, that old saying, reach one, teach one. Ask your neighbor or ask a friend, how are they really doing today? Because oftentimes we wear these masks that are not necessarily masks that's actually in our inner self at that particular time, and we come out with these masks on our face, not a physical mask, but a mask of everything's okay. And if it's not, people, I'm sharing with you, go seek someone else besides yourself, because you're not by yourself. So, Shy, any closing remarks? I'm sorry.
No, that was
because sometimes I go way off the subject matter, people. So forgive me. I will jump to the left or right of my brain at times, and that's where the energy was pulling me today. And I hope people know that it pulled me that way, but that was from my inner self.
Yeah.
So
no, I think that's a good place to end today's chat. Thank you guys, as always, for tuning into Chet Chats. Now that we are on Instagram Live and Facebook Live as well, we appreciate you. Like Dad has said, we genuinely do appreciate you. Dad started this page actually on his own a while ago. And so to see the amount of growth that we have had and meeting new people, all the opportunities that have been presented to us via Chet Chats, and the amount of people that share our videos that we don't personally know. So we are so appreciative of you guys for always tuning in. We will be back again next Thursday, back to our regular programmed and time slot at 8:30 Pacific Standard Time and 11:30 Eastern Time. So per usual, guys, we go off the air, but our videos stay live, so please leave your comments. Make sure you click that share button. Let us know any and all of the topics you would like us to discuss here on Chet Chats, and we will see y'all next week.
Peace.